Welcome, beloved awakened one. I'm Monica Bermudez, and this is the podcast of the Ascended Earth, the transfiguration of the new you, the new human. We are an ever-evolving human, learning, growing, expanding, and upgrading. What you are and always will be is a divine, cosmic galactic source from source, more than you can imagine. But not all of us are living to our fullest potential. It is time to embrace what you are and unlock your magical keys and spiritual gifts. This podcast is a transmission of energy codes meant to unlock other dormant DNAs to remember, reconnect, revive, and renew you to the new human, the avatar that you are. This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, my dear awakened beloved one. Welcome back to an episode in my podcast show. And I want to talk about the grid system, energy grid systems, and the quantum portals of the earth, and also how it all links to ourselves as well. Because there's a lot that hasn't been known about our human body and some of the grid systems that has been knowledge or wisdom, let's just say, that has been dormant for eons now. So this is going to be an activating in remembrance in that area, because in a lot of the ancient civilizations like Lemuria and Atlantis, the use of the energy grid system was very important to maintain balance on the earth. And it was so key to the ascension, which is why I wanted to dedicate an entire episode of a podcast show to talk about it, to bring that back in us. And right now there are some groups out there who are dedicated to going out to different locations around the world to maintain that balance or reestablish the balance of those energy grid systems. And for that, I am so grateful for those who are doing that. Chances are you may be one as well. And I've been also a part of a group where I go to certain areas to help clear some of the grid systems and also reactivate them and reopen them, as well as working with the portals. And that is one of my gifts, is to open up portals. And I didn't realize I had that ability since I was little. And I feel like in the house that I grew up with, my childhood house, in that one specific room where I slept, I feel that I've opened up a portal there. And the reason why is because I would have Ascended Masters come and visit me. And I remember specifically having a vision of Cosmic Master Jesus. And I feel that I had opened the portal, but I didn't realize that I had opened one until much later, that I had reawakened and resurrected the High Priestess in me, that I realized the gifts that I had in that type of activation. So now I do it with conscious intent. When I go out and find, portals, and some of these portals are hidden or are not known just yet. So when I go out to hiking to a specific mountain that is near my house, I have found areas that have these portals there that are not fully activated. So I've been working a lot with that energy of those portals and reactivating them and working with the grid system. So now with this whole ascension energy and the acceleration of the energies, with all the work, that others are doing as well, a lot of the energy grid systems are starting to be reawaken. And I want to talk more about what these energy grid systems are. So to me, when I see them through my inner eye, they look like these energy lines that are almost, I guess it could be equivalent to saying like the veins of Mother Gaia. And they also have this crystalline type energy to them, the crystalline energy grid system of the planet Earth, and they go through, different locations around the world, as well as, there's also the ley lines, and the ley lines are these major super powerhouse of energy lines as well. And I've gone to some specific ones, for example, when I was in Italy, and I had consulted with someone who specialized actually in the energy grid systems and the energy lines and the ley lines. That was her specialty, to find specific ones. So she had mentioned to me that there were specific ones that are called the Archangel Michael's ley lines, and then there's the Mary ley lines as well, and they specifically cross in the Archangel Michael's cave that's in, I forget which part of the Italy side of the country, but it is, specifically it's a cave. It's a very ancient cave that where Archangel Michael has had many apparitions for so long, and so the church has turned it into this a church. So there's a church on top of the cave, but you can still visit the cave. And St. Francis of Assisi has visited there, and there's a spot where supposedly he had prayed. It's a little sanctuary. So I went to investigate, to go check out the area, the energies. And I didn't know specifically where, the center was, but I had an idea because intuitively I was feeling a very specific spot. And I found myself in the spot where it's near where the altar is, because they have built this church around it. But I could feel like this huge surge of energy where this connection was of this Michael ley line with the Mary ley line. And I could feel it all, through my feet and through my body, going through this vibrational type energy. And then there was these other points as well within that location that were, specifically where the lines were also crossing. So this is like an amazing amount of energy. And I felt that I was reconnecting it and rebalancing it myself, but it was also balancing myself too. So, that's an example of some of those ley lines. And there's also dragon ley lines that I've heard of, where supposedly a lot of the pyramids, for example, were built around very specific ley lines, and more specifically of the lines of the volcanic lava and where it moves, on the earth, because apparently the volcanic lava of the energy that comes, from the Mother Earth has a very powerful energy as well. So a lot of the ancients built the pyramids around that, energy field of movement of that lava flow. And so that's where I feel like, the great pyramids of like Egypt were, built around that. But also recently, the discovery of these new pyramids in Bosnia. And those pyramids are very much real, because I've been there and I've actually experienced the energy. I've had, my first, I would say, dragon initiation at the dragon pyramid that's there. And yeah, so they're finding now, there's a lot of archaeologists working around and finding new chambers and new discoveries around it. And so what they're finding is that there's also like a lot of this, movement of the lava flow, which would make sense that they would have built, these pyramids. And supposedly these pyramids are much older than the pyramids in in Egypt, and that's why this caused so much controversy with some of the archaeologists. So there's been this little bitter fight amongst themselves. But honestly, though, being there myself in person, I have felt the energy there is so amazing, energy and powerful. I could probably go on for a while talking about it. But just to get back, to the grid system, because, there's so much to talk about it, or at least that I want to say about it from my own personal experience as well. That, so, talking about the earth and the grid system and some of my personal experience with some of these other energy centers as well. So when you have like several of these different types of, energy grid systems or and energy ley lines, crossing in one point all at once, like all of them, like several, it creates a vortex or this portal. And, Mother Earth is also said to have like 7 major chakra points, which are, equivalent to like saying this is where all these lines are crossing, like multiple ley lines and multiple grid systems crossing all in this one point, a very concentrated point. And so that creates this really high energy point. So I like to say that now, things are at a quantum portal because of the ascension of the energies and the acceleration of the energies that have been coming in much stronger than previous years. And they continue to get much stronger. So that means that these energy centers are also getting, a lot of energy to them. And I will name, the 7 major ones, but also know that, there's also some minor chakras as well. Like there's other really high energy places as well that are kind of touch on that too. So it is said that the root chakra is in Mount Shasta, California. And I'll tell you, after being in Mount Shasta several times, although some people will argue that it is like the heart chakra, and I can understand why, because when you get there, it feels, there's so much beautiful energy to it, and it's just the nature of the place that it could feel like the heart chakra. And I feel like, the heart chakra and the root chakra have some kind of link to themselves in a way. So I could see why, some people would think that it's also associated to the heart chakra. But I do want to say that it does feel more to me like a root chakra, because I feel like there is some work in the stability when I go there every time. I feel like there's something that is being rerouted or worked on in relation to my root chakra. And the sacral chakra is said to be in Lake Titicaca in Bolivia. Yeah, so I've been to that lake many years back, even before like I was reawakened or resurrected in many levels. But I, like I mentioned, I was, partially already awakened anyways, but I felt that when I was in Lake Titicaca and when I was overlooking over the lake, it felt like there was something very hidden, like there was this other dimension. And I could feel like there were these other beings, like these star family that was watching me. But at the same time, I felt safe, like it felt very magical to me. And, I was with my boyfriend at the time, and I could feel like there was, a lot of sacral energy movement within myself. And I thought maybe because I was with my boyfriend, right? But now I'm understanding that because I can see why it could feel like a sacral chakra in that area. That's my personal experience on that. And then the solar plexus is said to be in Uluru, Australia. I haven't been to this location physically, but when I tune in virtually, because you can do actually grid system work remotely, just so you know. we are, multidimensional. So we're not just, limited by our physical body. We can do so much more, from a remote standpoint. But when I tune in, I could feel like there is this powerhouse in my, solar plexus when I connect with it. So eventually I will make my way over there physically to visit. And the heart chakra is said to be in Glastonbury. So I haven't been there physically, but I feel like I really do have some like deep connections with that area because of the Avalon, the history, the King Arthur, Merlin, all my favorite, characters. And they are actually avatars or, cosmic masters. And so I do have a very strong connection with both of them. And so when I think of that area, I feel that, part of me remembering as well. And there, even just now, just talking about it, I could feel like this heart chakra warms and this activation going on as well, just tuning in. And then the throat chakra is said to be in the Great Pyramids of Egypt and maybe Mount Sinai and Mount Olivet in Israel. But I feel like more of the Great Pyramids, and I've been there physically. And I remember when we were about to land in the airplane, I could see the Great Pyramid from the airplane. I was so excited that I felt like I was almost speechless. It's almost like I felt like the heart go in my throat chakra. And I've heard people describe that, when they had that overwhelming feeling, almost feels like the heart is in your throat chakra. That's because, you have your upper heart that is really close to your throat. So there is a connection there with that. So, and just talking about it, I can just feel it. The third eye chakra is said to not really have a specific location. And it may be the case because that is, the seat of, most intuition, or the center of the psychic, abilities. And so it's just being able to look beyond the veil of what, so it doesn't really need a physical location. And the crown chakra. So this one, it is said about Tibet. Now, I haven't been there physically, but I feel though that I've been there astrally, and I've traveled there in this other astral dimensional spaces. So yeah, I do feel that very connection, and I'm very certain that I had, lifetimes there as well. So I can see that being, a place for the crown chakra. And there's a lot of, magic there. And so there's these other like high energy places as well, like that have, these very powerful vortex energies of their own. One of them being like in Bali, and I've been there myself. And Bali does have a very strong vortex area. And the place that I stayed at was actually in the vortex area. And that was, its own powerhouse of energies there in certain areas of Bali. And then, there's also in Tulum that I just learned about this area in Mexico that also has this very powerful vortex area. It's near the Yucatan area. And certainly does, sure, I'll make my way there and visit at some point. And then there's Sedona, Arizona, which I've been to multiple times. And that is just an amazing amount of energy and vortex everywhere. And Hawaii, I feel like there is this connection that I would associate it similar to like our soul chakra, which is above, the crown chakra. And yeah, there's something, definitely very magical area as well, and high energy of, different portals and vortex energies. And in Japan, the Mount Fuji, I haven't been there physically yet, but when I look at the pictures, I feel like this really strong energy from the mountain. It's an amazing energy. So these are, some of the major chakras of the earth. And so with that, will come some of its own minor chakra points as well. And so when you look at, the grid system of Earth, and there's also a lot of similarity with our own physical body, because our bodies are also composed of the grid system. So it's just like the Kybalion says, right? As above, so below, and as below, so above. So it's a law of correspondence. So we are in a way kind of like a smaller version of Earth, you could say. And so we also have a lot of the grid system, a lot of the energy grid system within ourselves, and also these major ley lines that do cross through our chakra areas and through our major chakra points of ourselves. And that is something that I work with, with my clients, is to like really clean up and clear a lot of the chakras and the grid points within the body, and how it all it all interconnects into the earth itself. So the other thing too is that a lot of the grid system also exists in the universe. It also exists, in other planets and, some of the different star systems, and it's all interconnected into this like quantum web of entanglement of energies. And so a lot of, also what I do with my work is that I am the star goddess, I would say, because I receive a lot of energies from these other star systems and planets, and they come through my body. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it just feels like this beam of light just kind of goes through my body, and it just goes down through to my feet, and I could feel it go into the grid system of the Earth, because it's receiving some of its activations. And I'm sure there's others that do this as well, so it's not just me, but I'm serving like this conduit as well to help the grid system on Mother Earth to receive some of these other star energies of activations, and to support with her ascension, and also to support us in our ascension. So, but others, humans will also receive it, but it's all dependent on the will of each one, right? So it's whatever your willpower will accept and allow in that moment. So if you really want to connect with the grid system, that's really where it starts. It's having that awareness. And now, with that awareness, you could take that and do a conscious intention of yourself connecting to the grid system. And, the way that a lot of the ancients would balance a lot of the grid system was to do mostly like dance movements. And that's why a lot of the Native Americans and indigenous people do like their own rhythmic of dance movements, because they've adopted that from a lot of the ancient civilizations like Lemuria and Atlantis. And so they continue this tradition in some way. And so I feel like, we're going to also reawaken that, reinitiate that. So in the future, all of us will start respecting and honoring Mother Earth in this way to help her stay rebalanced or balanced, moving forward. And this would also serve the universe and serve ourselves as well, because it would also bring in that balance in ourselves. And I envision myself in the future doing retreats where I will also be leading my own grid work type, energy grid work with others who feel called to as well. And that is the intent that I, have to do for, any offerings and programs in the future. But yeah, so that's, I find it so fascinating, so exciting to, be doing this kind of work and working with Mother Earth and reopening up new portals, reinitiating new portals and activating them. And so, yeah, it just gives me so much pleasure. But, give that a try if that is what you feel called to do, is to be connecting to the grid system, and just, set that intention to work with the grid system, and you could just program yourself at night before you go to sleep and setting that intention that, whatever intention that you set, that be for the highest good of yourself, but also the highest good of others as well. Those who are around you and humanity, Mother Earth, and all the beings of Earth, as well as the universe. Because that's why, we're here right now during these times of ascension and great awakening. And I am so grateful for you for being here also, and for taking the time to listen to this episode. And so I will be connecting with you in another episode. So I am sending you so much love. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.